Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How are you doing this evening? Hope everybody's doing great. Got my coffee and printer, so it's a good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out and joining me this evening. We have a few people on already. Enter and see. Hello. Box 2. Actual. Oh, thank you all for joining me this evening. So had a few things that we're going to go over and work on tonight. We do have a couple of Warhammer 40,000 helmets that we're going to work on. The Space Marine Chaplain, we're going to do the final touches on getting the respirator tubes fitted and installed. And then I have a new helmet that just finished printing that I'll bring on and show off, and we'll start printing some other parts that go on that. This first one, I don't think I'm going to paint. I'm going to leave the Space Marine Chaplain helmet just as a printed helmet with the accented printed pieces as accoutrements, pieces. Once again, we are going to add the respirator hoses to the front on stream tonight. This was printed on my 0G Mercury 1, which is an Ender 5 Plus printer that was modified for Core XY and linear rails. It was printed with a 0.2 millimeter layer height, and this is primary color is Polymaker PLA Pro Metallic Bronze. The blue is the Zyltech Cobalt Blue, and then the chrome down here, the accent temple studs and the sole patch is Polymaker Silk Chrome. So that's kind of how we set this helmet up. Going to my glasses off and show you guys that it is a fully wearable helmet. You still need to do the eyes. My plan is to print out both a set of just printed, probably translucent PETG eye lenses, and depending on how those look and whether or not I fully like them or not, I may print out a second set that's thicker and harder that I can use to form as a template and form some lenses to pop in the back. They will mount right in the back of the helmet and just either glue in or press fit in. So yeah, there is what I'll refer to as a little bit of support rest. You can see where we got some rough surfaces underneath the cheekbones and the eyes from where we had the support material to hold those up while it printed. I sanded them. They're smooth, but they're still noticeable as being, sanded or rough spots. So that's where the potential for just doing some like highlighting dark around the eye sockets may actually clean up some of that, as well as down here, just do a little light darkening, though these may get a little bit harder to see once we get the respirator tubes in. And so that's why I didn't want to worry about painting this one at this particular. But this is the one we will be working on and the tubes on today. And I had originally printed the tube attachment points in Prusament, in Polymaker Galaxy Black, Sparkle Black. However, after seeing the chrome accents, I think what I want to do is do these in the chrome, both ends in the chrome, and then run the tubing because the tubing is going to be black. So I think the chrome will better offset the tubing than these pieces, which will just kind of blend in with. So that'll be the intent of this evening, is to get those tubes sized, cut, and fitted. And at the same time, give us a chance to talk about 3D printing as a whole and how it can be used to do some cosplay props. And my upcoming trip later this week to go to Rocky Mountain Rep Fest, where I'll get to geek out and talk about printers and all things printing for a couple of days. This is I'll say the first Rep Fest of the year, and we'll have the Midwest Rep Festival, which is in Goshen, Indiana, and that'll be towards the end of June. And then we'll have East Coast Rep Fest, which is the last weekend of spring going into October. I'm sorry, the last weekend of September going into spring. And then there's also the Sanjay Mortimer Rep Festival that's in England. And unfortunately, I can't make that one this year. So we'll have to do that another down the road. So we will be working on that this evening. Yeah, Mr. Pete Savas has snuck in. Hey, Pete, how are you doing tonight, sir? How are you doing this evening, Pete? Are you working on anything tonight? Who else? We got Lola, Paula. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, please forgive me. I'm doing okay. You're still working on the Voron. Well, we got to be working on something, because if not, I'm kind of getting antsy here because I didn't want to start another project before going to Rocky Mountain Rep Fest. And now I'm like sitting there, I was literally going through Amazon going, okay, what do I want to buy today so that I can start a project? And what I'm really trying to do is wait and see what's new out at Rocky Mountain Rep Fest, and also talk to some vendors to see if I can't get them to sponsor my next build by providing, like a Victory Tech controller board, motor kit, or what have you, to see if I can't get some help there. And if I can't, no worries, I'll just do my next build myself and keep working those relationships through to birth. But some of you on Twitter, and I know Pete, you saw this. I finally did get my care package in from E3D, and so I got 2.4 and 2.6 Revo nozzles for most of my printers. So the 0.6s will go on things like the D-Bot back here. When I redo some of that, it'll get a 0.6. Now that's a 300 by 300 bed. And so having a 0.6 nozzle on that will allow me to get thicker walls and do better prints. Now I will still most likely do 0.16 layer heights, just because I think that gives a much nicer finish. And if I do start really sanding and painting these, like you'll notice here at the very top crown, how those steps for that top of the crown show up. And all these layer lines have to get blended out and sanded down. That's going to be a lot more sanding that will go into trying to clean up and get some of these layers. Now on the printer the Mark VIII helmet that I just pulled off, this was printed at a 1.6. And if you look, yeah, there's still a little bit of a spot up here, but it's not as pronounced of a ridge compared to this one. Okay. So this would be a lot easier to do a light sanding on and then do some spray filler to a primer filler to really work these lines out of this helmet. It would happen fairly quickly. Yeah, yeah. So going with the thinner layer height, you will get um, a better surface finish. So that would lead to less sanding, filling, and priming and stuff. The other thing is let me show you these two. Try and show you side by side. Okay, you see how rough this angled surface is? This was at a 0.2 layer height, and I had to use um, support material to try and get that to print at a nice overhang level. And I've sanded that, by the way, right? On this one, I put 0.16, and I didn't need supports at all. And now look at how nice and smooth this came out. There were no supports here. There were no supports on this overhang either. Once again, it's printing like this, right? So these overhangs didn't require any supports, and look how smooth those turned out. And yeah, you're seeing layer lines still. You may see some lines from a Z-wobble. Still working on that. That's a mechanical issue that needs to be worked out on the printer, but it's coming out a lot better. And it may take longer to print, but it's going to save you a lot of time at the end if your end goal is to sand and print, or I'm sorry, sand and paint. Because if you are going to paint, you are going to um, need to do a lot of sanding and prep, get that cleaned up before you go in and paint. Otherwise, you know, the lines and ridges are going to show up through your paint job. So if you really want a smooth paint job, you got to do the surface prep and get that cleaned up. However, it could play in fairly easily to any type of battle damage if you do want to leave some layer lines there. It just depends what your end goal is for your print. So both of these helmets were done on the 0G Mercury 1, which is basically an Ender 5 Plus that's been upgraded with from the it's a cubed printer, but it's still set up with an X and Y a la Prusa or a standard i3. Right? You have one set of motors for the Y, one motor for the X. When you do the 0G Mercury 1 mod, it replaces the gantry with a Core XY system and linear rails. And you also switch over to an EVA 2.4 toolhead, though there's now a mod out that you can do the EVA 3 toolhead on it. So I went from running the Creality hot end to switching over, and it's now running a Dragon high flow hot end with a hardened steel nozzle on it. And the biggest issue I have is one of my lead screws, I think I bent during the install. So I need to order another lead screw at least and get that swapped out. And get it started. But um, but yeah, that printer is solid. It prints extremely well. Um, Wrecker helmet here was printed on the D-Bot that's right over my shoulder here, the 4XY printer here. And this was printed with a 0.6 nozzle at a 0.2 layer height. And I didn't have enough top and bottom layers. And what I really should have done was changed, at the very least, done an adaptive layer height and changed the top to a 0.16 layer height and more walls. I didn't think about it. So this could easily be filled in with some Bondo and then sanded up and sanded down. But this came out really, really nice. And that's why I really don't want to do too much to the D-Bot, but I may just switch the Core XY up to mimic the setup of the 0G, just because I like that kind of setup a little bit better. But yeah, this was done. This is a Polymaker Sparkle Dark Red, which really looks more brown than everybody says that Polymaker. But this helmet is drastically heavier than these last two helmets, partly because I went heavier on the infill, thinking that I would need to. And I think I was fairly heavy. This was done before we had organic supports. So it had some heavier supports, and that's where you see some of this scarring on the face of the print was trying to get off the supports coming up here to the eye sockets. But this could use some love and some, yeah, this could use some love and some sandpaper to get a little bit nicer, and then that one will have to be. So yeah, I'm really liking the finish that I'm getting on the 0G. It just comes out looking so nice. And speaking of the 0G, let me not camera. So this is that 0G right here in the bottom left, and it is printing what's going to be a face shield of the next helmet, which is the Primaris Hull Blaster helmet, I believe. And this one will have kind of like the bottom part that comes around the neck and your nose mouth. And then you'll have this face guard that fits on the front, a visor slot for the eyes, and then the top dome of the helmet is a separate piece. So rather than being an all-in-one print, there's at least three major pieces to assemble the helmet, and then you can get all all the hood scoops, ear cups, and stuff like that to deck it out. We get these off the table here. What I want to work on now second here is making a noise. It's good. Yes. Need a few more people. Hey, Roll 17, how are you doing tonight, sir? Thank you for stopping in. I'm assuming you're at work again? Yeah, like I said, my E3D Revo Obsidian nozzles did come in. So I do have those, and luckily they came in right before I take off to go to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest. So I'm not even gonna. Hey, Rob, how are you doing? I'm not even gonna attempt to install them and print with them yet, but I do have like 5 or 6 machines that are rocking Revos that could get the Obsidians. And the 0.6 nozzles that I have are going to go on all of my big machines. So the D-Bot, the Mercury 1 has a Dragon high flow, so I probably won't put one on there because it's already rocking a 0.6 nozzle. I will probably put a Revo, because I do have another Revo CR on my Ender 3 Max that's downstairs, and put a 6mm or a 0.6mm nozzle on that one, just because it's 300 by 300 size printer as well. And then I'll look at putting another 0.6 out through here because, believe it or not, I run a 0.6 nozzle on my Ender 3, and I do 0.4 walls all the time, and I print boron parts, or boron at least profile parts off of it all the time, and everything fits like a glove. So I haven't had any issues with running 0.4 wall thickness through a 0.6 nozzle. So, okay, so for this helmet, the place that I went through had an Amazon link for specific size tubing. And I want to say this is like 25, 30 seconds tubing, but it's the right size that it fits right over the tubing with your caps. So whatever tubing, if you have a mass manufacturer, whoever provides your STL files, make sure that you go through and look at what tubing they suggest and work from that. And if you resize your helmet to fit your head, remember that's going to change the size of your tube. So you want to print these out at the same scale factor and then measure the inside accurately and make sure you get the right size tube. Oh, sweet, Rob Inc. I didn't realize he was giving away any Big Tree stuff. So we got the Manta M5P, which is just like the M4P, just one extra motor. So yeah, I'm running an M4P in Red Dragon right here. And then I've got an M8P downstairs on the Mercury 0G. And those work great. Hey, Westery One, how you doing, sis? So since Westery One's here, I did post this on her Discord, but this is the Westery One mat with Mia, of course, front and center, because you got to go with Mia because it's Mia's stream. Westery just clicks the buttons for her until Mia clicks them because she's not putting the right ones. And I cannot remember the size of this. I want to say it's like, oh, let me measure it real fast. So it's almost 12 by 24. So 1 foot by 2 foot. Rough estimate. We did get a new desk mat with Mia on it. Okay, you're just driving home? Okay. Yeah. It is a little bit longer. Still would be great for gaming, or if you're doing anything a little larger scale where you move the mouse a lot, or if you're working on like CAD designs and you have a big monitor. I think it'd be good for both those situations still. But one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start off. I'm going to keep the tube in the package, but I'm just going to cut a length off that I think is going to be probably longer than needed, just so I can work on the size. And then once I get one done, then I can work on cutting the other sizes, or the other ones to size. And be careful when you're using your hobby knives, folks. Make sure they're sharp, because if they're sharp, they'll be easier to cut things with. And also, when you cut yourself, it'll slice through pretty cleanly and won't leave a jagged edge. Just saying, if you're going to do it right. Okay, so I just have a decent amount of length here. The meal whisperer, yes. And so the way this works, that one's going to be out of the way. On the helmet here, we have two different size of the end cups. The smaller one goes on the, like this, say the side of your head, and the larger one with the little groove in it goes in the actual cheek by the mouth. Right? And so I'm just going to press fit these in. Right? I'm going to press fit one side in, get the tube in there, cap on the other side, and then try and bend the tube and get it in. And that's going to be way too much. I'm looking at this. We can cut kind of a decent amount off of this, so we go ahead and get that started. And once again, all we're trying to do is look for the right length. And once we get the right length once, then it becomes just a measure and cut numerous pieces, and then we can go in and fit them all. So once again, get that thread down at the bottom, get that cap on. Now we're going to bend it. And I just kinked my tube, but it came back to me, so that's good. So we're still way too much. That's got to come in a lot. Hey, you're working on the Voron. Robic, you just got in some new toys. Do you have a project in mind for your Manta board, or is this going to be the impetus to say, okay, I need to start a new project now? Doing good with cutting pretty. All right, so took that down some more. Now let's see if we can get this bent in there. Maybe just a little bit more, because we're still getting a little bit of a kink in that tube that I really don't. Another couple off. You need a project to use it. Okay, a project that might require 5 motors. I mean, that would be. How does that look? think that looks good. We've got a good tight bend radius, but it's not kinking. I think that comes out pretty good. So now what we'll do is we'll pull it back out. And eventually what I'll do is I'll glue the side pieces here in on each side and let those gloop up, and then we'll gloop in the cheek pieces. So we'll need to cut ourselves 4 more on this length. Yeah, something that uses a dual Z, like you can do a debot core XY. I think a simple core might do a dual Z. I'm trying to think what else might have a dual Z setup. I don't know what I was thinking there, because that's a completely different size. At least that's what. Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on what I'm doing since I'm using a knife. I don't really want to send myself to the hospital or Rocky Mountain Rep Rap. So, Rob, are you going to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest? And as you can see, that I've got plenty of clothes here. I could probably do like another 40, 50 helmets. Oh, you have to work? Speaking of which, no, they'll each be a different size probably. Have to work. Yeah, I get that. I'm taking a couple days of leave, so I'm taking off starting Thursday. I'm going to fly out to Denver, hang with my mother and brother-in-law, and then drive down Friday to Colorado Springs and visit my son and his husband and see their new house, and then see my best friend, who's also the best man at our wedding, and also see some coworkers or some former coworkers. Hey, Nomi, how are you doing? I did get to listen to the tail end of your, was it Tea with Nomi on Maker Deck today? That is so cool that you're starting to do that. Thank you, thank you. And we are working on one of our helmets, trying to do the finishing touches here, which is installing the respirator tubes that will cap off this build. Let's see if I can. There we go. I can put an arm here. I've got these four here. This should work. Oh, almost forgot. We got to shape this. Yeah, you'll find your groove, Nomi. I'm sure you will. I am sure you will find your groove. And then what we've got printing over here on the Mark IV here is the front mouth guard and some of the grills for the Mark VIII helmet. So we are printing this piece and these two pieces right now. The back ones will be done in another piece. There'll be caps that'll go in. Well, there's little pieces that'll go in here, and then there'll be an accent cap that caps them off. So I'm thinking about doing black for the mouth guards and the cheek grills, black for the base tubes, and then contrasting color that'll go for the tops, kind of like we did with the temple rivets on that one. The earbuds, I plan on going black. And then the top scoop here, I think I'm going to do in this metallic red as well, just so there's not a contrast there. But this does have the skull and Aquila. And then there's a blank one. There's the skull with the wings. And then there's the Omega symbol for the Ultramarines. So that's kind of what we're working on here today. Is just working on some helmets and chit-chatting before we head out and get ready for. In fact, I've already started packing. I'm about half packed right now for Rocky Mountain Rep Fest. I just need to, pack the stuff that you can't pack until that day, like toiletries, meds, stuff like that. But clothes-wise, all that stuff's going to be packed and ready to go. Hey, Cedar Craft, how you doing, my friend? Like I said, your package went in the mail yesterday. So I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but yeah. But real no, you're going to be like packing the car because you guys are driving up, and you guys are setting up a table, correct? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. It is a weird week at work. So they told us last week that we were going to be reorged and we were going to move to a different part of the organization for reporting structure. That announcement went out yesterday, and then all of a sudden, several different sorry you missed your stream. The kitty unplugged the internet. Okay, you're not going to have a table, but you are going to be out there. Okay, gotcha. Definitely, definitely. I'm not taking anything with me other than some prints to put on the printed solid table, and I agreed to. I'm going to put a big print at Elio Motors table and one for Ellie, because this is her, first one to Rocky Mountain Rep Festival. It's the first one, and she just launched pre-orders for the Cocoa Press. So if you're interested and you want to start printing in chocolate, where you can eat any mistakes rather than throw it away constantly, just saying, I think the pre-orders are 100 down, and then I think they were $13.99 once they're ready to ship. And this isn't a Kickstarter or anything like that. This is, multiple iterations that she has come out of pocket to do to get this going. So definitely, if you're out at any of the festivals this year, the Rep Rap festivals this year, go see Ellie and check out the Cocoa Press. I am just planning on just doing the bottom surfaces, not not the full edges. Glue works well enough that it is going to press in, hold, and chemically bond without an issue. I just want to make sure they're fully seated in there. And these are pretty tight, so I don't even need to like hold them in there and all of that. And if you've got seams, make sure your seams are pointed to a part where they won't be visible. The last thing you want is a seam to be like right there front and center if you can help it. So make sure that they're rotated around the back so that they're not as noticeable. So we got those two in. We're going to do the other side now. Yeah, it took 2 hours to figure out why the internet's down. Well, I guess it was just, it's not bad because they just pulled the cable. What would be worse is if they chewed the cable and then you had to go get a new cable, or if you got the skills, fabricate a new cable. Good thing is I've got plenty of cable. I either already have all the connectors and can fabricate a new cable, or I've got several pre-made cables that I can just pop out and put a new one in. Oh, that's awesome, Mosina Craft. Um, oh yeah, that's good that they're past chewing cables. That's awesome. So, Craft, have you posted that shield over on BC and Royal Nomi's Discord? Because that shield is looking fabulous. And what filament are you using for that shield? Once again, all of these parts were dry fitted before I did this. So I actually sat down in the living room in front of the TV with the garbage can in front of me and was sanding like down these edges here. That's why they're a little more noticeable. But I was sanding down some of the um, rough edges from doing the supports. And I was making sure that all of these fit nicely before I started to try and glue them, because that's the last thing you want to do is get your adhesive on something and then find out, crap, that part isn't fitting in there. And my plan for these, I'm not going to glue these tubes at all. They're just going to be free floating in between the printed parts. Quite honestly, there's a part of me that wonders if I should even glue in these lower ones, because there's going to be a good compression fit there. that they're not going to go anywhere. I think that's what I might do is now that I've got the bigger pieces glued to the front, thinking I'm just going to pop these around. Get them in there. Then we'll see if we need to loop in the back pieces. Silk silver, the last half of the shield, bottom half is going to be silk chrome because you ran out of silk silver. Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like this helmet was put together with the intent that I was not going to paint this particular helmet, and future helmets may just be printed out of a solid color and then painted. And then that'll give me a chance to say learn painting skills. Work with something big and then work my way down to like miniatures. I don't know if I have the skill and the presence to do a miniature at this time, but we'll see. We'll see. But we are all grouped up now and finished other than the eye socket. So let's see what you all think. I think that came out really well. And my intent is I'm going to print lenses and I'm going to try a couple of things. One, I'm going to try and print clear lenses using the technique to try and print clear PETG. Yeah, thanks, Rolls. This came out so cool. Once again, this is Polymaker metallic bronze for the base helmet. The blue is Zyltech Cobalt blue. And then we use some chrome, silk chrome, Polymaker silk chrome for the accents like the sole patches, the tube ends, and the studs on the temples. And so what I'm going to try and do is I will try and print clear PETG lenses because you're supposed to print these in base mode. If that comes out well, great. I may also have a translucent or transparent red PETG that I will try and do the same type of thing with. And depending on how those look and whether or not I like them, I also have some visor material. And I may make some visor material. I may be able to set up like a miniature vacuum forming table and try and vacuum form some parts for them. That'll be, you know, you can still see through, but it'll still be working eye socket. Yeah, looking at that model, I think there is only like maybe 2 or 3 colors on that shield. And then, like, of course, you'd have to do like the little rivet detail on the shield. So that would be the only thing that could be time consuming, would be doing the rivet details on that shield, I would think. That, and of course, the standard, you know, uh, fill, sand, fill, sand, fill, sand. Okay, now it's smooth enough. Prime. Well, we thought it was smooth enough. Sand some more. Prime, sand some more. And clean it off and paint it. Mask it off, paint it. Okay, yeah, got you there. Got you there. Sigrip 16 solvent cement. I have heard some other people that are using different solvents other than glue or cyanoacrylate, which is super glue, right? For putting together these models. And like most of this was glooped on, but the small the small chrome temple studs right here, I actually dabbed a little bit of super glue in there, just super glue. And this is actually where I got some glue on the outer edge. And I tried to sop it up with a paper towel and then sand it a little bit. And I don't know, I'm gonna have to see if I can get this to come down some. And if not, then I don't know, maybe just take a little bit of black paint to it. I don't know, I'll do something to it. It stinks that I've got that one spot there. I mean, the rest of them, you know, you probably won't notice I mean, you have to get close to see some of these parts because of the tubes. You probably notice the eyes, but that's where I might mask off around this, you know, this detail line and paint the inside of these black, um, just so that scarring from the sand or from the supports and then sanding won't show up as much. Oh, not a problem with Cedar Craft. Not a problem. Yeah, so in that case, if it's just a couple of accent parts, then you would sand, you know, fill it, prime it, sand it, sand it, sand it, you know, and then spray the one big bulk color, then come in and tape everything off to paint the blue. Okay. Who is the winner, Osina Craft? The 3D printed ocarina. Um, yeah, one helmet down, and like I said, the other helmet, um, I'm doing the Galaxy Black for the the front ventilator and the side ventilators. And then I may go with the standard black for the deep inset cheap ones here. And then once again, I'm thinking about doing the Galaxy Black or deep black for the plugs. Then there'll be caps that go on top of these that'll get an accent color, whether it's back to the red or chrome or what have you. And then the ear cups on this one are going to go black as well. Um, the the hood scoop on this is going to go red and stay that same red color, other than doing the accent like I did here. And then it'll be a case of potentially masking this area off and painting um, skull and wings on this. And once again, there is a rough edge here. So I'll work on sanding that rough edge down from where the supports were kind of heavy there. Sand that edge down and clean that up. But other than that, you'll notice that these edges came out very nicely. And this is a pretty steep, printing angle. I mean, it's still close to a 45, but it's still fairly steep. So that's why, another reason why I went with a 0.16 layer height and an extra wall. So it's 4 walls in 0.16. And it prints the inner walls first so that that outer wall has a lot more to hang on to. And it's trying to do this slope over a lot more slices. If you would do this slope at a 0.2 or even a 0.3 to 0.4, if you're running like a 6 or an 8 nozzle, it's going to leave noticeable layer lines, and you're probably going to have to support this. And then that means you're going to have to be doing a lot more filling, a lot more sanding. We're literally on the texture on this. I would literally be able to start with, probably 400 if I wanted to try and sand and get rid of some of these lines. There's a few lines back here that are from Z-Wobble that are pretty noticeable. So that would probably take a little bit more, a little bit heftier. And it does appear like I got a little bit of a crack right there. So a little bit of fill in. But yeah, overall, I mean, this came out gorgeous. And I did the red for a reason, because this Mark VIII helmet is going to be red. So I can clean this stuff up. And if I decide, okay, I am still going to go forward and paint this, then it's prime seal paint. And I don't have to worry about, if I break through any, about trying to cover heavy over like a gray or off-white primer or anything like that, because I've got the red underneath. Oh, you guys want to see something? So I don't know what happened, but we call this a fail. So the first several layers went down awful nice, and then one of the color changes failed, but it kept printing. So yeah, that's a failed print. That's a failed print. Hey, Stephen Poole, how are you doing? So just recently joined, so we worked to add the finishing touches to this helmet. So this is a Warhammer 40,000 Chaplains helmet. The base color is Polymaker metallic bronze. The blue accents are Zyltech Cobalt blue that my little sis Western One sent me. And then the chrome pieces are Polymaker silk chrome. And we just added the final touches with the hoses, but this is our full Warhammer 40,000 Chaplains helmet. So the main helmet was printed on the 0G Mercury 1, which is the Under 5 Plus that was converted to a Core XY platform. And the Hydra Trident-like kinematic bed. And it was pointed at a 0.2 layer height. And I got a lot of areas like the sloped edges here and underneath the eyelids, the eye sockets, where I have a lot of support rash from trying to get the supports off. This did use tree supports, but I think I was just extra heavy on them when I didn't need to be. So, luckily they're in places that were easily covered up or won't be as noticeable because of the tubes. And then like these eye areas, I may go and paint black anyhow, just so so it's less noticeable. The edges down here you won't really see unless you pick up the helmet and look. So I'm not too concerned about those. But the second helmet that I just printed, that one I printed at a 0.16 layer height. And this came out with a lot nicer surface finish. Oh, and I don't know why this camera seemed like it bugged out some. Let's go back to the main camera. See if we can see the surface finish of this a little. So for some reason, the backside, I see a lot more Z-wobble and blue lines on it. So this, I mean, it's pretty smooth still. And of course, that's the seam going right up the back middle there. But all in all, this came out extremely well. And I do have a piece for another helmet going on that right now on Mercury Rising. And so that'll be a third different type of helmet. That'll be a Primaris Hellblaster helmet. So now we've got this one, the main one printed. We're starting to print some of the accent accoutrements. So these are going to be the grill pieces for the mouth and the lower cheeks. They're going to be in the Galaxy black from Prusament. We'll see what I have left to see whether I print the deeper cheek ones in the Galaxy black or in the just regular black. And then we'll print out these pieces as well. I really need to work on also printing out some eye lenses. And I'm going to try and use the clear trick using clear G to actually print those parts and see how that looks and how that comes out. I may also try and do it in a translucent red PETG to see if it comes out and looks nice and I can still see through it. If not, then I'm looking at possibly trying to have one set I can leave in for display and then another set that I can put in that'll make it truly wearable and so I can see through it. But this first helmet here that I was just showing off, I am not planning on painting this other than maybe like I said, the eye sockets, making those black, just kind of heighten that menacing appearance of a chapter chaplain. And then if I get talked into starting to paint these and actually draw them up right as like a cosplay or a prop piece, then I will reprint the chaplain helmet in a 1/6 layer height and probably do it all in the same color. And a lot of you are probably noticing the 3D Print General. This is the creator spool from Polymaker and Flat Dark Earth. And what I'm doing is starting to print a 4-door Jeep. And I'm going to use that color. And I'll have color matched fenders on it, even though they're normally like black. I'm going to say this is an upscaled with the color match fenders, wheels and everything that'll go on it. So it's going to be um, another big multi-part print to get that put together. Kind of like our Sandy Dune buggy. But I thought those were kind of cool, so I was putting together another one of those, and I'll probably do some more models from 3D sets just because those models were really, really cool, and I got a lot of people that really liked those models and were asking about those. So I'm really glad that that's a model that Prusa put out on the new printer as a pre-sliced G-code file because it draws awareness to the creators, right? So I think that's really neat that they did that. So Stephen Poole, are you going to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest this year? You're not. Oh man, are you going to make any of the like MRRF or Earth this year? Yeah, because I'm definitely looking forward to meeting a lot of people in person. No? Okay. It'd be great to see you out there with some of your prints, but I get it. Not everybody can deal with having to take time off and this, that, and everything else. Your neighbor pulled up behind you. Is he expecting you to fall and lose a flip flop and be able to start playing his banjo? Sorry, Wester, I couldn't help myself. Okay, gang, give me just 1 second. I need to come over here and flip the AC on. It's starting to get warmer. Nope. Yep, meet you guys real fast and unhook me so I can turn the AC on. It's starting to get too hot. Give me 1 second. There you go. I'm back now. I forgot to unmute myself. Yeah, unmute myself. Sorry about that, gang. I'm sitting here talking to myself. So yeah, I was teasing, trying to tease Westry One, saying that as she knows, I love Mia, so I had to get me some more Mia merch, and she's going to send me a it's Mia Stream keychain, I believe. No, it was me. I muted the mic so I could unplug my mic because I'm not cool enough to have a wireless mic yet. And I went over and turned the AC on because it was like getting close to 80 degrees in the Dragon Den. So, and then I came over and just started, I plugged in, started talking, forgot about actually unmuting myself. Yeah, Mia is the best. Yeah, no, it was all on me. I muted myself and then forgot to unmute it back. At least here it was, I muted myself. I get on calls at work on WebEx, because I work for Cisco, and I can never tell, is my video going to be on or off? Is my sound going to be on or off? It's a different mixture of one of those two things every time I log into a meeting. And I can't figure out why it's different every time I log into a meeting. That would be awesome, Craft. Thank you. Because yeah, I keep looking at some mics, but I keep, I guess, looking at like, the Rogue Go or something like that. And I'm like, okay, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to do a DSLR camera. So sorry, guys, you get the 4K in the front and at least got the Logitech 922 for the bench camera here, which is a little bit better because it'll autofocus if I put it up against my hand or something. And then I've got a battering of Logitech 920s on the other printers because I'm using those not to quote unquote stream to like MakerDeck. No, I could probably stream some stuff to MakerDeck, but really I'm using it to monitor the printers. Because most of those running through Octoprint, I'm getting like 14, 15 frames. So yeah, the only issue with the desk mic Western One is they're normally they're omnidirectional and they pick up a lot of background noise if you're not careful. So it depends on your situation. And like having animals, I would assume that you would probably pick up a lot of background noise from the dogs potentially. So you'd have to really work on playing with your noise filters and stuff. Like I don't know, like I'm playing. I have no noise filter. No, I take it back. I think I finally added a noise filter a few streams back on OBS. Okay. Yeah, the aliens. Yeah. I mean this mic works good. But it's like on a big long tether. So I can move around a lot, but if I had a wireless mic, I think it would make life a little bit easier in moving around the shop. Though the nice thing is if I have to run downstairs to grab something, I can physically unplug so you can't hear me. I can see me leaving a live mic going down and my wife asking me something. And then I start doing the yes, honey, or I love you, honey. And no, I didn't know that big box was showing up at the front door. I'm sorry. Speaking of big box. So at some point, I really need to talk to Nick about getting, I don't know, backed or sponsored or something, because it's pretty bad when you decide, well, I might as well just start buying 3 kilogram rolls. So, yeah, I did a thing and decided it was time to start getting a Big Daddy spool. So that's my 3 kilo spool of black. So, like I said, if I'm going to start doing big helmets and stuff like that, not being worried about is it going to run out of filament overnight? Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've woken up in the middle of the night doing a big print just because some little noise, and I jumped up thinking, oh my God, it like fell off or something. So yeah, I picked up 3 kilo black spool and 4 of the dark blue. Not the metallic blue, because they don't seem to have the metallic blue in stock. But I got 4 spools of the dark blue, and I ordered, which is really weird. I got a note from Polymaker saying, "Hey, one of the filaments that you were interested in is back in stock." And I was like, "Oh, really? That sucked. I just ordered some, but let me look." And I went back over to polymaker.com, and it didn't show dark gray. Oh no, it's Galaxy dark gray ABS. It didn't show as being in stock. I was like, that's funny. You just told me it was in stock. And I went over to Amazon, and it was available on Amazon with a ship date of like the first week of May. So I ordered a couple of spools of that because I like a dark gray and a sparkly type of dark gray even better. So that'll be on a printer build coming in the near future. Now, I want to say I also picked up some couple spools of steel gray PLA. So that'll probably be on a print soon as well. Okay. Oh, I tell you, the cosplay, like, they cannot keep that in stock. Every time they run a batch and post a batch is available, it's like gone. It's like worse than a Taylor Swift concert or something. It's crazy. Hey, Free Heathen, how are you doing? Okay, sir. So we finished up the helmet. We got our tubes added, so here we go. So now, as you can see, I still need to do the eyepieces, and there's still some, I'll say some bad spots up here from the support material, and I tried to sand it down, and it's still looking a little bit bad. So what I'm thinking is painting just the eyepiece black on both of these, and then adding the lens piece and doing like a red. I'm going to try and use translucent red PL or PET G, and try and run it like the clear PET G pieces, which is running extra hot, extra slow, to make it solid infill but in base mode for those lenses, and see if I can do those. And if I can get it done in clear, I'll try it in like a translucent red and see what it looks like, and try and go that route. If I don't like the way those look, then I'll go through with some visor material and just cut templates out and put visor material in. Yeah, I didn't even think about torching it either. And I was looking at torches the other day and didn't buy one, so I probably just need to, one of the clicky like chef torches versus the. So I've got a bottle torch, that you put on the like the little small bottles. But yeah, wife will probably get mad if I start firing that up in the office here. Yeah, I could do some type of screening. That could work. Kid Skyfire, I don't know. I just know things like Taylor Swift concerts sell out like real fast. Demi Lovato and people like those, they sell out real fast. But it was just an easy way. It popped right into my head to make a comparison to how quickly it seems that cause PLA goes. I mean, it just goes. But it makes sense because it's a solid product and everybody's using them for cons and props. So okay, yeah, just get the little torch and try and torch it and see if it comes out. And like I said, if that doesn't work, then I can always paint it and no harm, no foul. Yeah, I will definitely throw that. I don't know why I hadn't thrown it in their particular Discord yet, but I'll throw it in their Discord. But like I said, the base um, the base helmet is Polymaker Pro PLA metallic bronze. The blue is Zyltech Cobalt blue that my sister from another Mister Westery One sent me. And then the soul patch and the tube ends and the temple studs are Polymaker PLA silk chrome. I know, I know. So these files I bought off of Etsy, and I posted it a couple of times. SoCal Creative Cosplay, I believe, is the vendor name, and that's also where I got the Mark VIII helmet. So, get the coffee, turn that one off, give me some more screen real estate. So this is that Mark VIII, and this comes in 3 different types. It comes bare with the skull and wings, or with the Ultramarines Omega symbol. And so I printed this out. This is in Polymaker PLA Pro metallic red, and this is 0.16 layer heights. And you can see, yes, I did get some Z wobble and banding in here. I don't know why it's starting to look so bad on that here. But I mean, this came out gorgeous. And this was printed, no overhangs on these parts, or no supports on these overhangs. And look how smooth those printed. Yeah, I'm gonna tag them. And right now, like I'm printing some parts. So I'm printing the mouthpiece and the lower side grills in Prusament Galaxy Black. And I'm gonna do straight black for the deep set vents and the side pieces, and the ear cups are going to be black on this. So yeah, these helmets are coming out really nice. And oh, and I was actually a little worried because it was like, oh, print it out on a 300 by 300 bed, but you'll have to angle it. I printed it out on the 0G Mercury 1, which is an Ender 5 Plus base, and it printed front to back, not in an angle. So it's printed front to back, and it does. And I do have a set of pads that I'm going to put in these, so it'll make them a little more comfortable on the noggin to wear, because I don't have padding called hair. Um, so these are pads that are kind of along the lines of like a military or like the airsoft helmet type pads. So they're section pads that you can Velcro in, and you've got multiple um, multiple pieces that go in there, and they'll just Velcro into the bottom of the. Um, yeah. So this is probably a little bit more expensive than like just plain foam, but if you're going to be in it for any length of time, you're going to want padding through your noggin. Well, that's not going back in there, so we'll just throw it over there. But yeah, I mean, you will want some padding, and I do. They say you don't need to put a lot of supports in your helmets at the top, and you'll see mine's fairly clean because I did put supports there specifically because, well, I needed to fit it and make sure it fit and everything. And like I said, I don't have natural padding on my noggin anymore, so yeah. Yes, they get hot, and that's why the pieces for that Mark VIII Primus helmet are I'm print. So you can print all of those side or the front mouthpieces and the side vents with holes so it can be vented, or you can print them solid. And I am printing the vented pieces so that I'd be able to actually breathe in the helmet a little bit easier. And there is plenty of room in there that you can add fans and stuff. Yeah, vented. And put it in. Yeah, yeah. So those of you that go to MRRF, not Rocky Mountain, I'm not taking helmets to Rocky Mountain, but this helmet will be going to MRRF with me, and maybe one or two others. I don't know, but I am planning on taking several printers with me. Like the Bugaboo and the Rook will go with me. This one may go with me. Um, and I may take one other one with me, maybe the Baby Belt, which I've reprinted, and I just need to make sure that I need to check the latest and greatest files that Rob Mink has out there to see if I'm going to reprint to another new version or not. I may go through and reprint the parts just to have more than one, because why not? Oh yeah, have I not showed you the baby belt? Actually, I should say I have shown the baby belt. I just don't know if you've seen the baby belt. So this is the baby belt. It is very cute. The belt on this is a laminate of, it's like construction paper, carpet tape, and a cotton fabric. Just standard cotton fabric that you can go and get from Walmart, Joann's, Michael's, whatever type of store you have. And the belts are tensioned and held in place with, zip ties. The bearings on the rods are 3mm. These are 3mm rods, and it's using PTFE tube that's 3mm inside diameter, 4mm outside diameter as the bearings, and you just zip tie them on. Quite honestly, you can print everything, but the actual, I guess, what is this, the screw gear or the worm for the worm gear? This is the inside piece is printed in resin, and I may have an extra one somewhere. That's the only issue, that you would have to probably print in resin, because otherwise you have to use a lot of supports, and it just doesn't come out as well as nice as resin does. Oh yeah, Dr. Gollum. Yeah. Ever since I started showing that helmet, Free Heathen's been here like every day trolling me. But yeah, this is a cute little printer. This is an older revision. I've got all the printed parts, so you'll see that I can push down the belt here. And this was a fully unsupported belt. And whenever you tensioned it enough to get the belt taut, it made this gear too tight, and it would bind and wouldn't move. So now there's a plate that goes underneath your bed that holds your bed up, or your belt up, so you don't have to have it as tight. And all of your electronics are mounted underneath. And so when you get the kit, you get all the parts, all the printed parts, and the it's an SKR Mini E3V3 board. I think they're still doing these. I don't think he switched to the Pico, but he may have switched to the Pico. And the newer ones on this front outlet has a spot for like an on-off switch, and a spot for a DC adapter plug. So you can plug it in with a brick and then just run your power to your board. So yeah, it's a great little kit. It's a cool little printer. It uses a standard CR hot end with a Mark VIII nozzle. And if you stay with the CR hot end with the Mark VIII nozzle, you can get belt printer specific nozzles from Power Belt 3D. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he makes nozzles that are a longer point to the tip, so you get more clearance to your belt, between the belt and the hot end. And they are now toying around with, this version has the hot end cooling fan in the back. They are toying around with an idea of putting that fan on the side and then adding a fan back here for part from the top for part cool. So they are still making tweaks to this design, but it is a cool little design. It's just awesome. And it's really cheap. It was like 150, 200 bucks for the kit, with the intent to get them even cheaper for production kits. Boy. Yep. Yeah, I'll send you a DM for Heathen, and I'll actually send you Rob Mink's, or you can go and look for Rob Mink, M-I-N-K, his GitHub page. And the current release is 10.1.1. They are skipping 10.1.2, and the in development branch has all been modified from 10.1.2 up to a 10.1.3 revision. And I downloaded those files last night. So I'm going to go through and look at them to see if I want to reprint those. Oh, yeah. He is awesome. Rob makes an awesome, pretty cool guy. And I was talking to him and was telling him at birth last year that I was having some binding. He goes, hold on a second. And he came back and handed me a new one of the screw drive gears and said, try this out and make sure you're using this specific large gear that attaches to the rollers for the belt. And yeah, it was just awesome that he just came over and handed me a new printed part and said, try this one out. This one should hopefully work better for you. And now that I have a resin printer and I've got the files, I can actually resin print those myself. And all the parts, like the screws, the bolts, because the rollers are rolling on, I think it's like it's either 3/8 bolt or like a metric bolt, but it's a long metric bolt. Yeah, I mean, I went out and bought, I have enough parts that I could probably build like 4 or 5 of them. Want the, whatever. I'm supposed to be reached. I've got a guy at work whose son has one of the newer CR10s. So it's the 24-volt CR10 line. And he pinged me, and we did a WebEx meeting between me, him, and his son. And I was talking to him and trying to get him excited about his 3D printer again, and showed him some of my prints. So he's all excited now. They're going to go back and work on getting his printer up and running again, and then come back and chat with me. And I may go and hang out with him and walk him through getting some prints on his printer. So yeah, I'm trying to reach out and do some of that in the local area as well. On what? On the Mark IV or on my Elegoo Mars? Yeah, just tell me which. Do you want them FDM printed or resin printed? Oh, on the baby belt? Yeah, I need to work on that one to get it going again. I was playing around with the firmware. So the firmware he provides is Marlin, and I was playing around with Clipper on it because pretty much the only thing I have that runs Marlin these days is the Prusas that are on the stock Prusa firmware. Everything else is running Clipper. So I was playing around with Clipper. So I need to go and get that running again, basically. And who knows? I have a CR style hot end that I can, I don't know, run a volcano nozzle on, which probably won't work on the baby belt without mods. Or I have a Revo CR edition that may work very well on a belt printer. Oh, definitely, 3D. Then I can definitely go and do some prints. And you sent me the master pack a little while ago, so I have all of those. I can start busting a few out and doing them. Oh, hey, John Strand, how are you doing this evening? Thanks for coming in and joining us. Is there anybody else out there? Daddy Wazzy's out there lurking, being quiet. Or at least I have not seen him chat. Ian Douglas is out there. Got a few people up in here. Okay, so yeah, plans are Thursday. I'm leaving for Rocky Mountain Rep Fest. I'll be out there over that weekend. And then when I come back, I am probably not probably. I am not planning on streaming this Saturday. Okay, cool, Steve. Steve Full, thanks for the alert. I am not planning on streaming Saturday because I will be out at Rocky Mountain Rep Fest, and I have no idea whether or not the bandwidth will be good. I may try and take some videos on my cell phone, but I have no gear to take with me or anything like that. So, who knows? Maybe for Murph, we'll see. Yeah, you've been printing the baby belt parts. I saw that. Which parts version are you running? 10.1.1 or are you running 10.1.3? Because I saw you post that you were printing out parts. Oh, the NAC 3D edition. Okay. With the heater inserts. Okay. You know what, John? Could you do me a favor and DM me that link or whisper me that link in Twitch? Because I would be interested in really looking at his version. Because I know he's done a lot. No? Okay. Are you beta testing some? Oh, I see. You're just gonna be mean and play with me. Okay. All right. Yeah, because the one I have built is still like one of the 9 rev versions, and I've got the printed parts for 10.1.1. All right, I appreciate it. See what you're doing, Free Heathen? Make your mill right, and now everybody's gonna start giving me a rough time. And I debated trying to do the NAC stuff, but I just haven't looked into where his files are and everything. I know he's been working a lot and providing feedback with Rob Mink and everything, so definitely want to check those out. And who knows, maybe I'll do a 10.1.1 because I'll take that one apart and rebuild it as a 10.1.1. Maybe build a 10.1.3 and then do a different one. Well, everybody's free to give me a rough time. I did plenty of years in the military, so I will just tell you that I can take it and I can give it. So, Baker Millwright's been giving me a rough time, doing some clips, throwing me out there at Polymaker. So it's all good. As he says, I'm a good nerd. So, you let in the animals. Yep, it's my fault. Or I've been dealing with sinuses and going out and doing some yard work hasn't helped. Or going and taking pet sitting for one of my neighbors. They were out for the weekend, so I was going down and feeding their cats and setting my allergies off. But yeah, so John, I'll throw this one back up here again. So this is the Warhammer 40K Chaplains Helmet that I was working on. And we just added the respirator tubes on stream tonight. I need to add the padding for the helmet, which will bring my eyes a little bit better in alignment, and get the eye lenses printed. But other than that, You know what, John? I'm not technically into cosplay, but I really like the Warhammer 40,000 genre, and I like all fantasy novels and stuff. So whether it's Halo or Star Wars or anything like that, I just love it. So, and this is the one that I started getting Maker Millwright with. Was this is the one I just finished printing off. This took a little over, just under 3 days, like 2 days, 17 hours, 13 minutes at a 0.16 layer height. And this is the Primaris Mark VIII version. And what you see in the bottom left going on Mercury Rising, which this is printed on Mercury Rising, which is a Mercury 1.1 with a Hydra bed. And it's rolling a Dragon high flow hot end with a hardened steel nozzle on it, so I can do abrasive materials as well. 0.4 though, I think I still need to put a 0.6 on it. I have your Jupiter bolt blaster or bolt pistol lined up in the queue, and I've been looking for chainsword models that I can do. I'm waiting to go to Rocky Mountain Rep Fest to see the latest iterations of like the Ender belt. There's an Ender 3 belt conversion, and there's a couple different ones. So the guy that does the power belt has one that's mostly printed parts, and I'll say it's cantilever. So you've got your belt, and it's just the one cantilever piece. And then there's one that's like a $350 kit to do a full up conversion that will do the triangular setup with belt tensioners and the whole 9 yards. So I was looking at probably potentially doing one of those belt printers and just getting another Ender, used Ender off of eBay to use for that conversion, and basically getting that running, because then I could probably do like a one-piece chainsword instead of having to break it up into multiple prints and putting it all together. I might at least be able to get the chain sword piece of it done in one long run. But we'd have to see. We'll have to see what it looks like. But I know that there are models out there that I'll look at. Yeah, it can definitely be lighter. I was watching Edge of 3D, and he's put together one of those belt printers, and he actually did, I think it's the Titanic model, and it was over 1 meter long, and he said there's 0 infill. So it was all perimeters. So, hey Zombie, how are you doing tonight, sir? So we have now finished, well, pretty much finished. I need to do the eye lenses and put padding in there for the noggin. But for the most part, this is now a completed Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine Chaplain's Helmet. And yes, I'm going to print your bolter design along with the like the canister bolt magazine, or the rotary magazine, or however you call that, for Heathen. I am going to print those out as well. And if I can get them done and possibly somewhat maybe painted, yes, I said yours. I would have them at Murph. There's a nicer one. Okay. Lead me in the direction, Senpai, and I will get them in front of them. Yep. DM me, send me in the direction, and I will definitely send you the links for Rob Mink stuff as well. Yep. I'll DM you for Heathen after this. But yeah, That's everything that's been going on. Zombie, how's your prep for Rocky Mountain going? Are you still planning on streaming tonight and tomorrow night, and every night until you leave? Yep, yep. He did. I pulled the baby belt out. This is one of the Rev 9 iterations, and I've got the files downloaded to do a 10.1.1 conversion, and I downloaded what I believe are all the 10.1.3 model files last night. But this is the baby belt in all of its glory. So it's still using the worm drive for the belt. It's still running off the same little what are these, the 28 BYJ 5-volt DC motors. The extruder, I didn't show you this. The extruder is actually built into the side of the printer using the same type of mechanism. It's just one of those motors with I believe it's a Mark VIII drive gear, and you've got bearings on top and bottom, and that just helps keep this drive gear centered so you get better traction on the extruder. And it's using a SKR Mini E3 V3. I have not built the ERRF geared printer. In fact, I'm not sure if I've heard about the ERRF geared printer. But you know, we like to print or build printers on this show. So if you tell me about it, you know, I will probably print one. They're finishing up the scientists. Okay, the Dragon Burner on the Rook 2020. Okay. Yeah, if he's got a dedicated printer design, let me know about it, and maybe I'll print one up on the channel, or print one and build one up on the channel. You never know. I tend to build printers. It's kind of like I keep trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna get this one built before Zombie starts, and then Zombie builds that one that night. I'm like, damn it! But he keeps stealing my thunder. Yeah, that printer I was just showing Zombie is the baby belt from Rob Mink. Princeps, I think it's princeps.net or princeps.com. But if you do a search for Rob Mink baby belt, it'll come up. Uses conduit tubes. Is that for the structure or for how does that work? And is it the metal conduit tubes or is it PVC? Because believe it or not, I was looking on YouTube for just like 3D printer builds, and there was a person that made like the base of their printer out of PVC, like plumbing tubing. It was weird. Just found coffee grounds at the bottom of that, so we're done with that. Until I forget, reach over and grab it again. Yeah, I've seen some weird printer designs out there. Yeah, some weird printer designs. And of course, I was sitting out there rewatching some of Ivan Miranda's printer builds, and it kills me when he built that like meter meter by meter by meter cubed 4XY printer. This huge bed. It has like 4 different heater elements on this humongous bed. And the first print on it is a benchy. I was like, you've got this huge bed and you print a benchy right in the front of it. It's got like a, what was it? It was a BMG dual drive extruder, direct drive, on top of a, like the super, or the Mosquito Magnum with like a 1.2 millimeter nozzle, and he's pushing 3 millimeter filament to it. It was like crazy. Z cubed after Rocky Mountain Ripper. Okay, so I haven't been on your streams the last couple of days, Zombie. So what's the Z cubed? Is that just taking like one of the recent printers, like the Bugaboo or Rook or something, and doing a triple lead screw a la Trident, or is that a printer that you're designing? Hybrid core or YZ cantilever. YZ. Okay, yeah, I guess that can work. Yeah, because we have Core XY, we have the switch wire, which is Core XZ, but I'm like, a YZ, that's just weird. But it's doable because basically it's a belted Z that also works as the belted Y. Yeah, that would just be a weird, interesting design to see if you can make that work, Tommy. That would be kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Free Heathen might be able to give you some ideas there because he's good with some concepts, mechanical builds and concepts. Oh, you already have it modeled? Cool. Yeah. Who, me? Yeah. And I'm sure that it'll be something like you'll have the CAD design laid out and everything. It's like, okay, this looks right. This looks like it works. And you'll start putting it together and you'll go through like 8 or 9 revisions. Um, check my whispers. Let's see. Break the parts out. Okay. So, all right. So it's just the step file, and I have to pull the parts out. And okay, that's doable. That's doable. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, okay, the last couple of streams, I didn't want to get into another build. I just want to keep putting this thing through its paces. This thing has quite a few hours on it already of prints, and it's printing great, no issues. I've been wanting to, this gives me time to like finish up on projects like this, forces me to work on projects like that. And yeah, so if I started, hey, Solar 3DP, how are you doing today, sir? And I stopped printing the logos because otherwise I'll start stressing about I need to get another batch done before I leave. So using an cubic go. Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. You already pulled out to the SCLs. Gotcha. Awesome. So Solar, we worked on getting our Warhammer 40,000 Chaplains helmet finished assembled. So we've got all the parts except for the islands is done. And I'm going to try a couple of different things here. I'm going to try and print clear PETG, maybe translucent red PETG. And if I don't like the way either one of those print, then I'll just make eye lenses for it. But we added the two pieces, and on this, we glooped in the front tube ends, and the back ones are just press fit with the tube providing tension to keep them in place. So that way, if we did need to take these out and do any painting or repair work or anything, we can. But yeah, put big googly eyes in it. But this one is pretty much done, and then the new one, I should say the next one, we printed off. This one just finished sometime last night, and this is the Primaris Mark, or no, not Primaris. This is the Space Marine Mark VIII helmet with the skull and wings chapter livery versus the Omega, which would be the Ultramarines. And they also have a version that doesn't have anything, so you can just paint it whatever you want. Yeah, the Blood Angel. I'm sorry, I was brain farting there for a minute. And I just knew that in this with the Blood Angel livery, it needed to be red, so that's why this is printed in Polymaker PLA Pro metallic red at 0.16 layer height. And then the Chaplain's helmet is in Polymaker PLA Pro metallic bronze with Zyltech Cobalt blue and Polymaker silk chrome accent pieces. You know what, Free Heathen? It's all good. They're all cool. Yeah, you can hate them, but they're all so cool. Like I said, I can do this. I'm thinking about possibly doing another one of these in the Polymaker dark blue. Not the metallic one, but I can do the dark blue. And that one might work out well to do in the Ultramarine logo. And then I can just mask off the Omega and paint that white. Yeah, these came out really, really clean. For the most part, I am getting some Z wobble that's really showing up in the back. But with the 0.16 layer height, it came out really good. These were printed with no supports on these overhangs. And those overhangs printed beautifully. I need to clean up this support edge some still. I just broke all the supports off this morning while I was sitting in a meeting. Why not? You can probably sand up the under edge here where I had supports. But very few supports just right here at the arch. Everything else printed fine. And I'm printing the accident pieces for this helmet now. And I turned, oh no, Mercury Rising is still up, and that's going to be the the front guard piece of the Primaris Hellblaster helmet. So that'll print in a lower piece, that front face guard, and then a helmet top. So it'll be 3 pieces that get assembled together. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I hear, pray tell, that the Polymaker logo here may have a friend up on the wall soon. I'm hearing rumors that my sister is going to be sending me something soon. Sister from another mister has been lurking for a while. Not much competition. Yeah, I'm not as flashy, and I don't give away a lot of things on the show, just really because, I mean, I could probably give away some filament. I did just, Evil Diesel came by and visited yesterday afternoon after a visit to the VA, and I was showing him all the helmets and stuff that I had printed out. And while he was sitting here, I just went into the closet and grabbed like 4 rolls of filament, and he walked out with 4 rolls of filament. Because, well, why not? Ad? What do you mean ad? How is Free Heathen not subscribed already? Dude, that needs to get solved. All right, you're back. You had an ad. Like, why are you getting ads, Free Heathen? You're not subscribed? So now it's my turn to bust your chops. So, I know you're super broke, buddy. I know you are. Not a problem. Well, there he goes. Thank you, Solar 3DP. I was gonna say I would have squared him away after the stream anyhow, but thank you, sir. Yeah, I know. I know you've been struggling a little bit, my dude. Not a problem. Not a problem. But yeah, I can't compete with, pancake printers and all the lights and free giveaways and stuff. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened. It just something weird happened. You were trying and Twitch refunded it. Denied. Yeah, he is. Thank you so much, Solar 3DP. I appreciate that. Oh, I got personality? Well, thank you. Thank you. Twitch Turbo. Yeah, I got to look into that. I have Nitro for Discord, but I haven't done Twitch Turbo yet. Okay, Royal Nomi, aka BC. Thanks for chilling out. Have a good one. And loved hearing you today on Maker Deck for tea time with Nomi, right? And I don't know if I don't think I have a shout out for you, Nomi. I got to get some shout outs built in so we can do some shout outs. But, definitely, yeah, mouse. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, check out Royal Nomi. Check out BC when she's streaming on his channel. And every Tuesday we have Tuesday tea time with Nomi on Maker Day, and that's at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Correct, Nomi? Hey, Hey, Retro Maker TV, how are you doing this evening? Hope all's going well. Yeah, tea time with the R Demon. 12 Eastern. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go, as Westry would say. Yeah, definitely. As long as I'm not in a meeting, I will be listening in. If I'm in a meeting, I'll be there, but I'll have I'll have the laptop muted while I'm sitting in the meeting. I can't get too distracted in meetings. Yeah, well, definitely thank you all for the compliments there and the fact that it helps to hear that I'm doing good things and that you guys like everything that I'm doing on the stream and like the helmets, and even though some of them are blood angels. Oh, hey, Subsector, thank you for this for the gifted sub to Astronac. Thank you so much. It'll be great to get you guys in here. Well, I didn't even see you in there. You've been sitting there being quiet, haven't you? Okay, yeah, you guys have just been listening, hanging out. Gotcha. I am pretty much getting there. Like I'm done printing. Like I've got quite a few stacks of the small Rocky Mountain logos that were printed. I was thinking about signing them, but the paint markers I have at my disposal. Um, what's the um, I don't know. It, it, they're not fine enough. Oh, here we go. They're not fine enough for me to really sign them and then to be as legible as I want them to. So I need to see if I can get some finer tip ones. I didn't even think about it. I could have, well, probably would have been considered a modification. I would have had to ask Big Jan if it was okay for me to modify it. But I definitely wanted to say that, these are Big Jano's files that he made and gave to the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap folks, and then I've just been printing a bunch of them off. So I plan on putting some of these smaller ones out at the printed solid booth, since they're going to have booth space, but really not going to have a display. And then I've got a couple of big ones, and I'm going to give one to Ellie Rose for her Cocoa Press booth. If you haven't been on Twitter, I don't know what you've been doing. Get on Twitter, follow Ellie Rose, and check out her Cocoa Press printer that she just went live with pre-orders. This is not a a Kickstarter campaign or anything like that. They're true pre-orders for the Cocoa Press. That thing looks so cool, and I'm going to be hard pressed if I don't wind up getting one of those and letting my wife and Evil Diesel's wife like go off and start printing stuff and selling stuff. But I'm going to give one to Ellie Rose. I'm going to LDL Butters Jason asked for one, so I'm going to give one for his booth as well. So yeah, and those were all printed on my Prusament Mark III with the MMU2S. So they weren't you can do them color swaps, but I wasn't doing color swaps. I was just letting the MMU do it. So oh yeah, those are looking so great. It's awesome because she's like, I'll trade you chocolate for one of those. I was like, done, all day long, done. And then I am waiting for Crusoe to drop the MMU 3 because I will get one of those and put that on this, so that we can check out the all the new stuff as far as the capabilities of the MMU2, the MMU3, because it is now supposed to be able to have better communication between the MMU and the actual This is the X-Buddy board that's in the Mark IV here. And so you'll get better error messages and know easier what to do. Because right now, it's like you almost need a decoder ring for the MMU flashing lights to tell you what's janked with it, what needs to get fixed. Okay, cool. Yes, Westry. Ellie just went live for pre-orders for her Cocoa Press, which prints chocolate. And I believe she has milk chocolate and white chocolate. I'm not sure if she has dark chocolate yet or not. Yes, that is a helmet, Retro Maker TV. This is a Warhammer 40,000 Chaplain helmet, Space Marine Chaplain's helmet. It is printed in Polymaker metallic bronze. The blue parts are Zyltech Cobalt blue that were provided to me by Westry. And then the soul patch and the respirator chin pieces and the temple studs are accented with Polymaker silk chrome. And the helmet itself is a one-piece print, and then of course all the accessories are separate. And then the next one that we're working on right now is the Blood Angel. This is the Blood Angel Space Marine Mark VIII helmet. And I will print another one of these most likely in the Polymaker dark blue. And it'll have the Omega symbol for the Ultramarine. So, and these helmets, those Warhammer 40,000 helmets, were printed on the 0G Mercury 1.1. So that's the Ender 5 Plus that's been converted to a Core XY, running EVA 2.4 tool head with a Dragon High Flow hardened steel nozzle and a Sherpa, or excuse me, a Orbiter 2 direct drive extruder on it. And it's got the, I was using the standard Ender 5 Plus filament sensor, but it's mounted way at the back. So you're losing like over 700 millimeters of filament when the sensor trims. So I installed the Orbiter 2 filament sensor, and so it mounts right on the Orbiter 2. So you're losing like about like the Prusament, like 40, 50 mils of filament when it runs out. So yeah, that works cool. It's also got the hydrokinematic bed, so it's got like the triple lead screw bed on it, which works great. My tramming routine, when I start a print, every print, it goes through this. It will hone the bed. It will do Z tilt, and the Z tilt is set for 0.0150 deviation between the three lead screw points. And then it'll do another home. It'll do a bed mesh, and then it prints. And I've configured it to be able to do an adaptive mesh. So it'll be like the Mark IV now, where it will only mesh where it needs to mesh and do a purge right in front of the print. Which is still going to do most of the bed when you're doing a big helmet like this, but if you do a small part on it, it'll save a lot of time in the first print. And that printer is not in this room. It sits downstairs on an old kitchen table in the dining room. And right next to it sits the Ender 3 Max. So, yeah, I was going to do it. I was going to take the last cold dregs, which I know have coffee grounds in it, and you guys were going to let me do it. Well, it would be my fault because we've got at least a 3-second delay on the streams. Still would have been my fault. So yeah, I am officially done printing stuff to take with me to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest. I'm pretty close to being packed from a clothes perspective. You know, it's great. I'm going from mid 70s to 80 degrees here in North Carolina. And I'm looking at the weather, and I'm going to go and see my boys on Friday down in Colorado Springs, and they're expecting snow that day. So yeah, it'll be. I'm going to go from hot to cold, and then I'll come back and it'll be cooler here. We're going to have a cold snap roll through here in North Carolina. So that part sucks. So, oh yes, Western One. That cocoa press is phenomenal. And if you look at her like kickoff video that she posted on YouTube, and if you've looked at some of her tweets, if you've been following her, it's not just, you know, like her little she'll do like a 40 by 40. It almost looks like she will have test prints that are different infill patterns. So it'll almost look like this fan shroud, right? But it'll have, it's like the 40/40 with different infill patterns in chocolate, and those are samples. She'll be giving those away at the show. But she has actually done a flexi fish. I kid you not, a flexi articulating fish that actually flexes and moves, just like, you know, the articulated dragons or all of Subsector snakes that she did for her show. So she's getting great resolution out of that thing. And I want to say she's using a modified Voron V0 like base for it. And it prints on restaurant grade silicone mats that go on the heated bed. So yeah, it's all food safe. Oh, I'm telling you, Western One. I'm like, oh, it's only $100 down, done. And I go, oh, wait a minute, it's $13.99 once it's ready to ship. Damn. You know, I'm gonna have to get permission and have a business model for that one. You know, I can print miniatures out and sell miniatures. I'm gonna take this to the gaming store when they do their Warhammer night down at the local gaming store here. And I'll probably have people like, oh my God, I want one. And I'll be like, okay, well, hold on. I got to go ask if I can get a commercial license so I can sell the print. Like I will print it, give it to them, and they can assemble it and paint it because I know that's what a lot of them want to do. But I got to go back to to the the seller of the STLs and get permission to do anything like that first. Yeah, you're like, the horses don't need hay, the dogs don't need treats. Mia will still get treats because Luke will still sub and you know gift subs and all that, so Mia still have treats. Horses may eat it, but you, if I remember right, Westry, it's just like dogs. You do not want to give dogs or horses chocolate. That will turn out very bad. But as she says in her video, there's no failed prints. There's only happy accidents and treats, right? If you fail on a print here, it gets chucked in the garbage. You fail a print with the chocolate, okay, scrape it off into the I'll reuse this later. I can melt it and use it as, you know, for chocolate sauce for ice cream or just eat it straight or whatever. I bet me I turned around and was like, no, like, I get my vegan strips, and that's where I said, even if you have to cut out treats, me will still get treats because I'll still do subs and stuff. Neil still get her begging strips. Oh, hey, Subsector. I don't know if you were on the other night. A few more people have been on, so I'm gonna pimp some more of Westery's merch here. So this is maybe looky. This is Westery One's new mouse pad mat. This is, I want to say basically it's about 12 by 18 inches, or I'm sorry, 1 foot by 2 foot, roughly, right? And I couldn't help myself. I had to get it when it came out because I was like, oh my God, it's Mia. It's Mia. So it comes out pretty nice, Westery. Even scaling it up. I mean, it looks a little soft edges on the Mia, but it came out really good. Now I just have to clean up some so I can spread out my mats. You cropped, yeah. Yep, it's Mia. Yeah, I know chocolate and dogs is a bad thing. And so is cake. Like we weren't thinking, and we left the house, and my mom had 2 cakes for Thanksgiving, and they had been sitting on the table. And she makes custom cakes. So years ago, she had basically taken, because everybody always fights over the turkey, so she would make the turkey shaped cake and decorate it for Thanksgiving. And everybody always fought over the turkey. So she would literally take and make turkey cakes, cut them in half, and join them together so they were 2 heads and stuff. And she had one of these up there, and we didn't even think about it. We didn't pen the dog up, and we had gone out for something, and we came back, and our dog had gotten up on the dining room table, which was one of those big, I mean, dedicated dining room tables with the bench seats that you pull out and everything. She got up there and ate like half the cake, and then proceeded to get sick out of multiple ends all over the house. It was a disaster. Like we had Stanley Steamer come in and clean the carpets. The cakes were all thrown out. We had her in the vet for a couple of days, had to have her stomach pumped because apparently all that icing and the sugar and the chocolate and stuff, no good for dogs. And this was a quiche hound. This is a fully grown adult quiche hound. Yeah, so if something like Mia had gotten into it, that would have been bad. So, yeah, that sounds like your house. Yep. Oh yeah, it that came out. It's still perfect. It's still great. That works even at that size. If it was like a smaller, I'll say more standard mouse pad size, I think it would have been a little bit better because you're not blowing it up as much. But yeah, that size comes out great, and it seems like a lot of people are going to that larger mouse size um, for like playing games and stuff. So oh yeah, exactly. Like if they get up there and they get a steak or they get some chicken, okay, not so bad. That'll work. You know, unless they get like your Buffalo Wild Wings, you know, desert heat wings. That's going to do something funny to them. And if they ate them all, that would just be weird in and of itself. Your dog's got the taste now. You're going to have to start sharing. Just get the boneless ones and help out. Gotcha. Yeah. What was it? Yeah, I think like I said, I was looking at Ivan Miranda's some of his printers. That could, yeah, I think I got to start doing some of those crazy things. and went out and saw his merch store, and I was like, nope, got to do it. So I got a couple of his Spacers shirts because he's got some, because everything's Spacers. So if it's not right, you always need some type of spacer to make things sit right and line up. So he does Spacers. So, if you haven't checked out Ivan Miranda's videos on YouTube, go look him up and check him out. He is a crazy Spaniard, and he comes up with some wild builds. Some wild builds. Okay, folks. Well, it's 7:30. I've been on for 2.5 hours. Oh yeah, I love them all. Like Wednesday, I always wear not a zombie. I always wear a Modbot shirt on Wednesdays, right? Yeah, cheers, zombie. Yeah, I always wear a Modbot shirt, and I notice you wear a Modbot shirt a lot of times when you're streaming. So I was just like, oh yeah, it's not a zombie, it's a Modbot shirt. But I always wear his shirt on Wednesday because I watch his streams on Wednesdays. So. Oh yeah, it's good merch, and I got a Crempin Ain't Easy shirt from Nero 3D that I like to wear when I go to do wiring on stream because that's Crempin Ain't Easy, and if you've got a pre-made wire loom like I did on my switch wires, that makes it a lot easier. But if not, like doing the bug boot, you're cutting and splicing and crimping and doing it all. So, hey, Pez Liz, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well this evening. Yeah, I made sure and listened in on Royal Nomi today for tea time with Nomi. So that was good. Thank you, Pez, for the greetings. So we've just been really chatting and I'll say shooting the shit. We finished putting the Warhammer 40,000 Chaplain Helmet together. Now all I need to do is do the eye lens material, and I'm going to try and print clear PET G, translucent red PET G, and or just use some visor material to make the eyes for it. But this came out really cool. Hey, Chewy. This is Polymaker PLA Pro Metallic Bronze for the base helmet. The blue is Zyltech Cobalt Blue that Western One sent me. And then the other accent piece is the sole patch, and the tubing ends are in the temple studs, Polymaker Silk Chrome. So we've got that on, and that is full-size wearable. And then the Mark VIII Blood Angels livery helmet finished today. This is in Polymaker Metallic Red. And we are starting to print off some of the accent pieces right now. That'll be the vented pieces for the mouth and the sides. The cheek vents are are going to also be black. And then these will be black with some accent cap on them. And I'm going to go with straight black for the ear cups as well. And I plan on printing another one of these in the Polymaker dark blue that'll have the Ultramarines livery on here. And these latest ones are getting printed at a 0.16 layer height, and they're coming out really, really smooth. Yeah, you know what, Chewy? I don't plan on painting this. I'm going to take this to the local game shop when they do their Warhammer 40,000 night. There's people that'll be there gaming as well as painting and assembling miniatures. And I'm going to take this out there to that with Evil Diesel. And
I am probably going to get people to be like, oh my God, that is awesome, but it needs to be painted. And I would print another helmet with the 1/6 layer height and then paint that, because I can do it better with less supports when I redo it at a 1/6 layer height. I hope so, Chewy. I hope so. But this really came out really well. I'm really liking how that helmet has turned out. And I was dragging my feet, to get everything glooped on and the hoses and everything. I mean, the hoses have been here for over a month. And I was just like dragging my feet. So having these couple of non-printer building streams leading up to Rocky Mountain Rep Fest is what Rocky Mountain Rep Fest is what's helped me actually get this helmet done together. So oh no, what I may do is walk in there with one of these, and I don't have a commercial authorization for these yet, but if enough people ask me about them, I will go back to the vendor of the STLs and see if I can get a license to do, even if it's a limited run of helmets, and sell them to some of those people that I know might like them and will be willing to go through to sand them and paint them and do them upright. But yeah, I have to double check. I'm pretty sure I don't have a commercial license. I know I can't sell the STLs, but I want to check with the vendor and make sure I'm good to go before I start selling any helmets or anything to people if they want them. But definitely going to take them out there and show it off. But yeah, I'm not thinking I'm going to stick around too much longer, folks. I am going to find a place to raid out to, go spend some time with my wife and get some dinner in me before sacking out. I've been burning it, burning the candle at both ends lately the last few weeks. And I need to get some sleep up before I go on my trip out to Rocky Mountain Rep Fest, for the time and altitude change really going to hit me and do a number on me. And we don't want that. We want me to be able to come back on Monday, stream Tuesday night, and tell you guys about all the cool stuff that I saw at Rocky Mountain Rep Fest and all the cool stuff that I brought back. Because my intent is I'm going to take some stuff with me and I'm going to come back with some cool new stuff. Because that's what I do. Probably won't come back with a lot of filament from Rocky Mountain. If anything, I may buy some and then ship it, but I'm not going to bring it back in my bag. But I will come back with some stuff. Oh, not a problem, Chewy. Not a problem. Oh, guess what? Shut up, Chewy. My obsidian showed up, so I now have a couple of the 0.4 nozzles. Now, these are the 0.4, and I now have a quartet of the 0.6s. So, a good portion of my, like the D-Bot back here is rocking a Prusament III style hot end with a Revo 6 in. So it'll get a 0.6 nozzle on it. Because once again, this is a 300 by 300, and I have printed the Bad Batch Wrecker helmet got printed off on the D-Bot. The only thing I don't like about this is this helmet compared to this helmet. This one's a lot more infill and stuff. This one is definitely a lot heavier. But yeah, so this, I can print helmets on that D-Bod as well. So once I do some issue or some mods to that and get the bed better, then I will have 2 machines or 3 machines technically, because the Ender 3 Max can do helmet sizes as well. So I just want to make sure to get some 0.6 nozzles on them so I can still print fat layers, but width wise, but I still want to be printing the 0.16 because you get a lot less layer lines and the surface finish is a lot nicer, so that you can then have less prep time if you are going to prime and paint. But with these, I'll also be able to run any type of abrasive materials through them as well, because I do have a lot of carbon fiber PETG from Atomic Filament that I bought at MRRF this last year. I've got some carbon fiber ABS that I'm going to use as well. So having the abrasive resistant filaments, I think is going to, or excuse me, abrasive resistant nozzles on the Revos should help. So cool. Well, like I said, I'm going to call it a night. I've been streaming for coming close to 3 hours here, and I just need to jump over and see who all's online I can raid out to. Who's on? Sid Heresy, Babe Ross, Maker Deck, Chris Perillo, Jazzy Wazzy, Tuner, Recraft. PA6. You know what? I ran some Polymaker Co-PA on the V0, which doesn't have a hard nozzle. And my understanding is you probably should for nylon, even if it's Co-PA or which is a PA6 mixture or the PA12. But definitely, if you're going to run the glass filled or carbon filled, and this is for a part. This is a hook that'll fit into a Ford Maverick fits system. So this would be a place where you can hang some hooks behind the headrest of the seats. So I have some printed out in ABS, and I did one in nylon that I wanted to give to my one of my coworkers, because she just picked up a Ford Maverick and asked me if I could print some parts for her that would work in the car, because she knows PLA wouldn't work. So I got her some parts to try out. So I kind of ran off people that I'm following that I know are online. We've gone to Sid Heresy a few times. He does electronics projects specifically around like music equipment, like equalizers, synthesizers, stuff like that. He's been working on fixing a pinball machine. Yeah. Astro Canuck. Is Astro Canuck on? I asked because I do not follow him yet. And what is his what is his actual what's he, the Astro Space Canuck? The Kunk? Has it got an underscore? That's true. Okay. Okay. He's doing some Legos Space News. Okay. I know, like Digital Dragon 72 just rolls off your tongue. It's so easy to spell. You know, I don't know why we got to make them so hard sometimes. But I will go ahead and get that raid set up. Okay. And thank you everybody for coming out and spending the time with me. And while I was working on this helmet, I really appreciate all that you guys do, and you know, just coming out and hanging with me, spending your time with me. I know that everybody's busy these days and got a lot going on. It's either spring break or you know, the rep rap festivals are coming up and everybody's working on things. But I appreciate the time that you come out and spend with me. Thank you so much for the kind words throughout the stream, and letting me know that you really appreciate what I do and what I'm bringing to the 3D printing world. I appreciate it very much. And please go with me as we raid out to Astro Canuck. Somebody new for us. I'm not following him yet. Um, but let's go out and enjoy our time with him. Hang out, give him a few, 10, 15 minutes of your time to see if you like what content he has. If you don't like it today, go ahead and give him a follow anyhow, so you know when he comes online again and you can check out what he's doing. Give him a couple of streams, and if you like what he's doing, hang out, follow. If not, go on your separate ways. It's all good. We're all just one big happy community. So thank you everybody for coming out tonight, and we will see you next week, because once again, I am not going to stream Saturday because I will be at Rocky Mountain Rep Rap. But next week, we'll be talking all things Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest and all the stuff that I brought back and did. So thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and start that raid. And thank you all for being out here. Have a good night. And we will see you in a week. Thanks again.